Hold up. Every day I wake up.
Wake your ass up.
The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. What's up, Mimi?
Good morning, Envy, Charlamagne, Jess. How y'all doing?
Peace, Mimi.
How you feeling?
Hey, girl.
Good morning, Jess. You look so cute. Welcome to the West Coast.
Thank you, girl. Oh, my God. I don't know how you do this, but thank you.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. So we start this morning in Washington, where Congress has now cleared a bill to release the Jeffrey Epstein files, and it is expected to land on President Trump's desk next. Now, the House acted first, passing the bill in a 427 vote to 1. The only no came from Republican House member Clay Higgins of Louisiana, which is a close Trump ally. Every other Republican and every other Democrat voted yes. A few hours later, the Senate approved the very same unanimous bill, a rare move that lets them skip the debate and roll call vote as long as no other senator objects. Now, a White House official says President Trump is prepared to sign the bill as soon as it reaches his desk. Here's what the bill includes. It requires the Justice Department to release all unclassified Epstein-related documents, emails, investigative files, flight logs, internal communications in a public format. All victims' names would be protected. Now, this vote comes after months of resistance from the Trump administration and top House Republicans who insisted the Justice Department had already released enough information. But a bipartisan pair, Republican Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Democrat Ro Khanna of California, they forced the issue and gathered the 218 signatures needed to force the vote on the House. Now, survivors of the Epstein abuse, they watched from the House gallery as the vote sailed through. And even with the bill clearing both chambers, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he still doesn't trust the administration to move quickly or voluntarily. He's warning that Congress and the public will need to keep the pressure on until the files are actually released. Let's listen to what he had to say.
So the great news is now the House has passed it. The Senate has virtually passed it. It goes to the president's desk. I was going to say we have a lot more work to do. First, who knows how long the House will try to hold it. We should put pressure on Johnson to send it right over to us. Second, the president has said he'll sign it, but who the hell knows with him? He can change his mind on a whim. But third, and maybe most important, and I just had a meeting of 10 senators to discuss this, we got to make sure we get all of the Epstein files, all. They can't around with this. They can't say, oh, we'll give you this, but there are legal reasons we can't give you that. And we are going to be pursuing them relentlessly to get everything, because I don't trust this administration. I don't trust Bondi. I don't trust Kash Patel. I don't trust the president, and they could screw around with this. It'll be all of our jobs to be on them and make sure that we get everything.
Chuck's right. You shouldn't trust any of them. And interesting that Republicans overwhelmingly voted to release these files, which leads me to believe two things. One, the FBI redacted Trump and other prominent names in the Epstein files, like was reported over the summer. All Republicans are fed up, and they're trying to take their party back from MAGA. I said that months ago that I felt like it was some type of internal coup going on in the Republican Party, and they were going to use the Epstein files to take their parties back. Because this is the only thing they could use to rebel against Trump and not get backlash from his base.
Now, there was one person that voted against it. Who was that, Congressman? Do we know?
It was Clay Higgins of Louisiana.
He's Republican, correct?
Yeah, he's a Republican, and he is apparently a staunch supporter of President Trump. So he stood his ground and said no, the only one out of the Senate and the House to vote no.
Wow.
So
that's big glazing. Why he ain't get the memo?
Yeah, that's big.
Like I said, why didn't he get the memo? Why he's the only person that didn't get the memo?
Yep.
Yeah, even House Speaker Mike Johnson voted yes. So
and isn't he? That's going against what Trump wants, because Trump said he wants the files released, right?
He said he wants the files released, but do we really, we'll see, what that looks like. And speaking of that, President Trump, he reacted to all this on Truth Social, saying the Epstein story shouldn't distract from what he calls the victories of his administration. And really quickly, because this is so important, a major ruling out of Texas that could reshape the entire 2026 midterms. A federal court has blocked Texas from using those newly redrawn House maps. Now, that map had been at the center of the nationwide redistricting fight, and it was part of President Trump, his key effort to expand the Republican Party next year. So in a 2-1 decision, the judges found substantial evidence that race, not just politics, drove how those key districts were redrawn, weakening the voting power in the Black and Hispanic communities. Now, the judge who wrote the decision is a Trump appointee, which makes this ruling even more striking. And that Texas map, as we know, it set off a chain reaction. Missouri, North Carolina, they passed their own maps, adding Republican seats. And that is what was the catalyst for Prop 50 here in California, which added 5 Democratic-leaning districts to counter what was going on in Texas. So Texas, they have appealed to the Supreme Court. They did that almost immediately. Now, if the ruling holds, Texas will have to fall back on its 2021 congressional maps for the 2026 midterms. So we'll see what happens if the justices step in and fight this on behalf of Texas.
All right. Well, thank you, Mimi.
Absolutely. Coming up at 7, we're going to talk blurring the lines between tech and what's real when it comes to emotions and family.
All right. Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open again. 800-585-1051. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get back in some front page news. What's up, Mimi?
Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing this morning?
Peace, Mimi. Blessed, black, and highly favored over here.
Good morning. All right, so we start this hour in North Carolina, where the federal immigration crackdown is stretching into the middle of its first week, and tensions are still running high. DHS says more than 200 people have now been arrested across Charlotte as the operation began, and only about a third of those arrested, though, have criminal records such as prior deportations, weapons charges, assault, or DUIs. The rest are being detained solely for immigration violations. Now, at the local school district there, hundreds walked out of school protesting the raids and showing support for classmates whose families were afraid to leave home. The school district says the impact has been profound. On Monday alone, more than 30,000 students, roughly 1/5 of the entire Charlotte-Mecklenburg district, they were absent from school. Community organizers say nearly half of the mom and pop shops, they're closed during the crackdown, either out of fear or because customers simply aren't coming. And Tom Holman, the board czar, he's telling Fox News that enforcement is here to stay and sanctuary cities specifically should get ready. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Regardless of Republican or Democratic city, we're going to enforce our laws across this country and take those public safety threats off the street, Bill. But I'll say this, I've said it from day one. Sanctuary cities, we're flooding the zone because we know they're releasing public safety threats in the communities every day. That's where the biggest problem is, and that's where we're sending the majority of the agents.
And this morning, we're learning that federal agents are pulling back from Raleigh and shifting personnel back towards Charlotte, where the operation has been the most aggressive. And this isn't just happening in North Carolina. In St. Paul, Minnesota, hundreds of protesters, they confronted federal agents during an operation yesterday at a warehouse. Agents responded with pepper spray and several people were hit with pepper balls. It's still unclear how many people were detained, but officials say the agents withdrew eventually from the area. Federal officials, they say that they will be in North Carolina through Friday before sending roughly about 200 agents to New Orleans. They say that could either happen next week or roughly around the first week of December. So
I didn't know they had sanctuary cities in the South. But I wanted to ask you, Mimi, if they arrested more than 200 people and only a third have criminal records, what are they arresting them for?
Well, that's what the uproar is about, right? Because is it racial profiling? Because they're stopping people who are just outside doing their jobs. They're hanging Christmas tree lights. They're blowing leaves, and they're just arresting them. One man was arrested, and he had to show his real ID to get out. He was already locked up, and he had to show his real ID to kind of get out of the situation. And so they're questioning, what is this? What are we doing here? Are we locking people up because they're brown, or are we locking people up because they're criminals, they're gang members, like you guys are saying?
Damn.
So, yeah. So we'll continue to watch that. And if you tried to access your favorite website yesterday and it wouldn't load, here's why. There was a major outage at Cloudflare, the company that manages traffic for millions of websites. It knocked out large part of the internet. It was offline for several hours. Did you guys notice anything yesterday?
No.
I heard people telling me that, though. People kept saying their apps weren't working.
Well, now Lauren kept saying that X was down.
Yeah, it was. So because it started about 6 o'clock yesterday morning, Eastern Standard Time. They say a routine configuration file that Cloudflare uses to filter and manage the internet traffic, it suddenly grew larger than expected. It overwhelmed the system and it triggered widespread outages. So it took out major platforms like X, ChatGPT, Spotify, Shopify, even parts of the New Jersey Transit digital services. So it left riders unable to pull up schedules and updates. Now, Cloudflare says this wasn't a hack, that it was an internal error. By mid-morning, everything was fixed. Most sites came back online, though some users still saw minor hiccups and things like that.
I never heard of Cloudflare until just now.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't heard of Cloudflare either, but apparently it controls about 20% of the internet, Charlamagne.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And now to a story that's prompting some tough conversations about loss, technology, and how far is too far. So a new AI app called Tagoe is promising to let people create a digital twin of themselves, an avatar that looks like you, talks like you, and stores your memories. The company behind it says the technology would allow families to stay connected even after someone passes away. But not everyone is seeing this as comforting. So a promo video for the app, it went viral. It has more than 40 million views, and it shows an elderly woman. It's her avatar. It's supporting her daughter through her pregnancy, talking to her grandson as he grows up, and even giving him advice years after her death. Let's listen to some of that promo video.
Mom, would you tell Charlie that bedtime story you always used to tell me?
Once upon a time, there was a baby unicorn.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey, Charlie. How was school today?
It was really fun.
Look who's gonna be a great grandmother.
Oh, Charlie. Oh, congratulations.
She says that he's been kicking a lot, though.
That's weird.
Yeah, like, y'all don't find it creepy? Like,
That's
how you feel about that?
very weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how grandma gonna know how to react to something? So it's really just chat GPT just guessing?
It is, and maybe reacting. I don't know the technology behind it, but people are saying that it's a comforting way to stay connected, but it's also unsettling because it's blurring the lines between real memories and a machine. That's raising ethical questions like, how do you really feel about that? And when you listen to the promo, you heard, the mom was pregnant, and then the grandson, he became a dad, and so the grandma became a great grandmother, and it was just it's kind of weird. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I don't know if I want to watch my loved one, on a screen and it's not real. Would you do that?
It feels like when people, I guess, used to watch old videos and look at pictures. Back in the day, it was the VHS tapes, and then it updated to, memories you have stored on your phone. I guess the only difference is those are actually real, but I can see how it gives you, like, I guess, the same type of comfort, same type of coping mechanism. Maybe?
Yeah, but the problem with that is that could be, you could look at that as the good side, but what about the bad side of that when people can use that to do things like, hey, I am so-and-so, yeah, I'm co-signing for my son, or yeah, I'm doing this. Like, it could be a bunch of ways that they manipulate them videos to be negative.
I don't think they're gonna let you be able to do that digitally because you still got to sign stuff, and I know one thing. For all you people that like to use AI when somebody dies, you can't do both. If you make me an angel and I fly off, you can't make me an AI twin now. You done sent me to heaven. So you can't do both now.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, they say the people who made the app, they said that you can only create your own avatar, no one else's. It's free right now as they figure out how to design this ethically. They say that their mission is to set the standard for how AI avatars should be built with strict rules against identity theft, imitation, or anything that crosses the line. But it's still a very emotional space, grief, memory, legacy. So that's why this is drawing strong reaction. So we'll continue to see, what this means. But I don't know, y'all. It's a little scary to me.
It is crazy. Just people just can't rest in peace no more. Like, they just, they gotta still be here talking and stuff. How do you explain it?
Yeah,
to a kid?
And mentally and emotionally, it feels like you're not getting what you're supposed to get, right? Because, as much as we don't want to accept it, death is a part of life. And, at some point, all of us are going to grieve, and we're going to have to go through that emotion. And usually when you come out on the other side of that, it does make you a stronger person. It's almost like you're not allowing yourself to feel that natural feeling of grief.
What about it for somebody that doesn't have a father in their life, right? So they can use that, and that could be their dad. Like,
I would love to be in control of that avatar.
See,
I would just love the avatar to be like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't fuck with you either.
Hey, yo.
Can you imagine a deadbeat avatar? A deadbeat avatar would be hilarious. I would love to be in charge of that just once.
Oh my goodness.
No.
All right, y'all. Well, that is your front page news. I'm Mimi Brown. Follow me at Mimi Brown TV for more stories. Follow the Black Information Network. Download the iHeart Radio app and visit BINnews.com.
All right. Thank you, Mimi.
Hold up. Every day I wake up. Wake your ass up. The Breakfast Club.
Y'all finished or y'all done?